ekoso el Ghana memha fellow Ghanaians ene nana adodan kwagufo ado besoma omai photo samfo yesana hene ye finance minister etobeko parliament house na akoma sikari yakamu no akoda na di akire Ghana adehye eti efri sabre kwese no mie no bebo original time for breaking news now so any moment from now yenya hint ne say finance minister awura fiduam ho a woni Ghana fo nyina be kasa fo ma sikasem ho a we have no option than to break pa near room our parliament house near kotie nsem a ekoso e wo mrahye de fie no mo eti be afidie no mo enka say parliament the parliament o mo nsem da bi wana musifo na ho de oto abama ano no o member of parliament no o jawana mu parliament house ho eti wo na wo ho adaje nti a yenko nti na man krofo bi ko gina na mu timo aso ene wani enko ho yaso yebesi nkonya ofidie mu ha na ne yebeto famia no yabo ho modene se yebechichi mu akire mo ne yentena your man in the afternoon Ali Baba Dankambary me the whole Kessben news ni yesi nkonya anopa wie ya yebeso mo na yenya nko parliament house yi ensem de yedi kan bo bia no yede ba tie guso ye tie de yede brem no a ne ye monitor parliament ne yebesi bia no ne nyina ensem a edisa ye ka kire mo obese woni yen ebo mpunumpu e Facebook address no eye Kessben TV and Kessben FM. Facebook, Kessben TV and Kessben FM. Would you like ye na share Emma Fufrosu ni ekoso? Kessben TV and Kessben FM. Bibia the whole live. And your Twitter and Instagram no ye Kessben Media. Both Twitter and Instagram no ye Kessben Media. YouTube ye Kessben TV. Kessben TV YouTube and your website ye KessbenOnline.com. KessbenOnline.com. Fellow Ghanaians, who have been shaving out the Banswa. Number is 0551 599 933. 0551 599 933. Koviziga mo akwaba.
Yeah, kwaba.
Na announce they don't.
All right, tie for na masipi fa phone sisiare ko Facebook. Uko Facebook ana ko search. Uko search anu abo Kessben TV live now. Kessben TV live now. Obo say program ni twagu na make sure say and somewhere stories e be treat no ha say no. Ho ana ado adwenche beba. What the ba ni akenka dia ma kama. Uko Kessben TV live now. And I say Kessben FM live now. Emu bia no e be ya ba no akwa akokire wadwen. Wo ya malam. Nesa ko advertise ho a ye be block o afezu so ne yetimi enkenkan fama wo de ko bonchen a yetimi enkenkan fama ene ye be call parliament house na ti se de kwa me kan no eno so wo ho adwenkyira na wo de aba Kessben TV live now kwa
awoma so eye minua asomadu dakwa mene no na ehya ase na ene sikana ye kekan no parliament house yi ye betwa bi asiwo se ye de bo anwumasua de a enka wo mo a ewo koni yawo ehia mo papa sanse ne obekokoni yawo krom ho enkwada miensa ete desk ba akoso ye dem atufo bo okora nipa mienu ene te one desk so how possible be me na mo akwa ba mpomai
kwame nyakupa do bi aboko
boyemu wa probo ade ko ikoni yawo emre bi atwamu o miehunu se kura de nkwada mpre wanyin se na atu asete wo ho se atiasi classroom ame se obekono nkwada bienu miensa ete one desk so koni yawo ewo men kan say district ben mansiri ben ene wo
komi hawo the pan municipal eho ana ewo
ehye kwa ya se na se owura no nyamfo Jose Ewusu no deputy speaker of parliament ni constituency yo kasa yeti
so na wodi tabia tudu akene ya ba ne nsu se ka wo mo eye budget na nka ban e de bi ko ye suku nketwa ma anka beboa Kabia say Ghana mampani enemy mpani for Minister of Education. One any swadi hu eno omo nsise mu akwai say ento aso suku nkwa ana omo ade ene omo ani ewo so ekoba na sa na eye primary any JHS ono de na ne ma bi so ho atiaka entikane senka Ghana mampani enemy mpani for kai ye suku nketo aye primary and JHS no na ko omo ani akwa omo antabeboa yepa kwani so kwani ya wa mo JHS MAJHS na kopo anim ni ukodu school no ma enkwana na bo apeso a wotumi fa na asabi empanifo Ghana ban eyen se yade abenti entity entam ne niam ahodo pi no ukodu school mu akwane enkwana na bo apeso pa trese womo enkonya no won peteso yensa enan mienu na no ana mekoto asa headmaster ora Fedel ono tremu se eyade edu omnya omde ho asam akoto assembly omako education office akoda omse kwani yawo MAJHS womu ni nkonya eteso nyankopon nim ni aweho asefem and so oba time to me kwatam sikasa okoye table ni akonya de amane bako school eti eyade a edu omnya pa wo ha ma de hia adefre aye den ama omo eto omo sraja na mampani eni panifo ahwe nwuma so se fesi a oba kwani awa e ho be kwa amanfiri mu a MAJHS enkwala na sitremu a omde to no eden efa enkonya ho eno pa ho akwa me classrooms anso yade a edu omunya ene enkwala no be ko classroom ba ko nipa be 50 40 no metete ho eno so yade a edu omunya wo adan pa se edan a wo mo betremo asua de no eno so omo sraga na ban ene me panifo ahwe nwuma so se omo kwame ade a omo eka ya omde to magem se eye Newa Joseph Osewusu the was school year make one semi ade a watini abese da ayadada anu aba be 20 hu amana yam no na mmom so ahotre wo ho na obebo modi asidan ni bia ka ho no eno de omo modi entu hu anamo eno pa ho akwa no ukokọ ne yawa atretrefo a wo mo okrodua no etrade no na kopo anim ni adinye teacher ni na bia wo ne yonko teacher ni ena so e one room edi enti da ba me sa komi ya wo kura wo mutu fam agudie enti ama ho dan no community no e de dan na ma ha ya o de ma obi a obetumi agi sika kese afri ni nchen enti sa wo ya ba aduma ni na wo ho na akopa dan a enya de ba ma wo nam so ama eno so am de adesrade atumpanifo anim sese am no kasa na nanmo tanko na ene na family member any committee members akom ho bonkromai no so omo bomadi asi teachers quarters enam asetra a teacher for enya wo honti no wo mo peda adrum pampan so bia eno so omo hiamwa kwami se teacher ni ba betra dia oni ne yonku teacher ni ase one room a jesa ofri bekwai anase ofri anyankwanta no watimi abakọ ne yawo na teacher ni ne busu na katia eyesai na odi bi asa dia kwani aba eno nti eyade ano so omo so ka ba mo wo mo na ko mo asetram no enye kwani ya enkwara no ne ni bebe di nkomo eka wo mo hawo wo mo fom e school wo sabi ko ba sakura bi ko be kwa kwa ni hunye a wo mo ni bia bi a wo be fefe wo mo enu nyina ya de a eka wo mo etuwe de Ghana ban minister ora editu oni ni mpaninfo ma ne director of education na me na research town da wo di mary of every year we de bomodia ne to na mo na fo di kokosho kwani yawo eniema ekoso kwani enkwada no opansa class mu aye ma wo nya ba di ntro ebi tifie na ebi pa ba ebi asako elu tuwe de omo srambani fo to na mo na kwani yawo wo mu sukuu no omo si da ma wo mo na fe enkonya ho asam omo nya ma wo mo atratra fo asitram omo nya ma wo mo na fe ambitiani ade 20 min kwaso da se ja na mampani di na nya senior high school ko ano onyire enketwa no so hubi na we de day kwami ya ni wo mu di nkomo yente asa headmaster ni so di tuja any school for kwara no so some of the tuja
say enkwani bi ti so enan ene miensa nti eno ye how kese akwa bi twira gi so de twira na so ya bom panimfo anso so no emmo bia emma nti ne de nyame asese mo aba na pe nso ye how to so mi no say uba no say enkwani do so ti say yare aba ye dan sem enso so ye problem nti senka aba ba be emmo se de erade ka ye MP akoma man be CC ma ye obi penti ma ye se rade adom na se bia edan foforo so betima babeka ho a enkra ne bi wa hanom a ebi wo fie sisi a meka sei enam se dan so enti enkra ne bi wo fie omo aye mabuso ebi so called different community nti yesre aban ne mpanimfo so mbeba no mabeboa ye ama school dan bi aka ho a enka ye ni be so afi nso so no achechefo ye wokum anso so ye ni dan ebi fi be kwai ene ba krum ha ene ba bi ebi so krate won kra na ye tu won azisi a ye wa ye ko kan bi ho asem sisi a ti yesre and the community no I there so much teachers protest the bomb basso or so now come nothing so I am well be a munia I bet mama a dan or more being and cafe my eno and my any veggie I'm a conia or chef for Wahano in Yakumatoyamo at the Eduma in Kunas.
It would be a sort of for Tutu, Tias Laba and Mr. Omway, and be a hot toilet.
Teachers for 10 between the last at a student for any be a English year, reading me not and find it. And I find so ICT lab, you need teacher needs ICT, and I say what chance and I'm talking about some credit book. Yeah, I can be cut and find it experiments, the announcing on the side. Tias Lab. Any help for 5 months, it's in my office. And there's a person who's not so good as I do come my papa, young, not one I am my crazy, not a lesson from your side. The whole side, so rabbits not passing. So by yourself, that boy, why about us?
Now, yes, good day. Your harm will be them once no ya pimswa in yam with me, Biantino or minor. It is here who say, in my cracker, one, a very price between 6 quarters. Yasha could have named Yahoo Deno, a coffin. T. Yes, re. I buy any crew, you know, no more come to me or more in I say. Ubia, then we are one work a cabin on from Wye. Na intimate bema ya church for no, Antina, Umina and fair young color animal. He said, we are how. Young color will be a free room where you because just room as a collect in school. Yeah, now so dear same son, yes, I baby cry ever say 6 classrooms. At there was a bian colano, a coin no move with my baha. Nina so ye scassem, program said maybe any here. I yet yes, we are ye turn here and a boy. To yes, a buying any anyone walk to my baby a woman and say, or my boy cree, na you school no in a
Mama asumadu dakwa amane boye kofa free koni ya na mote ye no me kwa ahoma no so na mene kofi dinati emo nkomo be ma atime ka ma kwa abona de sen
meje masu ba hoye na maso e
yakopa ada woro ma hoye pa na arawo sembe ne yatitie yi abrantie ya wo mo abu na kunu no uni no 1-on-1
me patro ni ya pa awo dimachi
na eba ne se na omukotugu no so buru no sa
ne tell se mimi anu oye operator kisa operator ana ni sana o di mimi anu tantu operator nti mimi ne na ya du I several times o ma ya du ma check akra nti ko ba se mpini bi o ya twimi ni na je o tapengu ma mini anu ne ntem eye basa anu anu wi by
asem na nkasa ko far ba ne sen
no ko for ba ni se anu anu me ka se mi ai ta edumanu wa atem o mini anu ka nti anu ho ana de unu ba
eden ne bai o di film
ansa na se no betinu na mini anu oni fio omo mienu nyina omo han dan ofi ba kumwo enti me pa chawo te interview
eti on kapa
minya no ne man no nyina omo han dan ofi ba kumwo but etiewura na omo han dan wo no ono no wo ba enti man ba kono enam no so ama mienu na wu no aranche ba na ono so di no nta enti wani minya na ya juma so kakra but ansa na atonu betinu na minya no wo baby ono bi ete a omudi nkomo na anu suma so mo mekule no emana enti dipa o no ma na nitia kwa omudi minya no pa omo fla no bae no ana ase extra semna ntino minya no ko di nkomo ba na wate ana obita minya no na minya no ti tu pa ya waka no kure nso ono ankasa ni de no kure nso anyi antuma obebo ni enti mini anu kata anana obo mini no no se we ya me papa mpete no be kon ubo mi ame me bogu enti wana tam bonus mbi mi so bonus mbi mi na mini a hete so ye afi ki honom ai ba mo honom na ai ogada abai no amo mutande mini anu enti wana mutana so ebu kom no mutugu ni na ombo na anti obi ne ko pie so no imeka ko bom da penam no se to antu ka me dini na o mhed o mukunu nti me bla no ba ya obedru ye na bisa oba na ni anu da ni de am ena o mo maka no so e honum ena obisa mi an se de na ko so ni na ntiman kasa ena o san bisa se de na ni na ntiman kasa nti o fela no o di ni tina je so no se no honye ena o se di ni ti je se am enti o wana ma me no ene papa no ye se me bland na se no so ntena se nye de na ko so ena so o di ntena se no mo ma na kunya era o mu bo mama ne se mimi ni anu mu ade ena bla o pa ko le ko e na o ka to mu ade de se wi aso bian wo bu ade ena se mini anu e no wa ko na no o se mini na didi na se o se mini na didi na se ma ebro na obobo no ene be ye de enchu wa hu o ma bo mini anu nti sa de chena se o ai mini anu ho kan on fa mo hu ncho mo kra nti o kan ta anu na boys na o mu bo ama anu mo mu bu nu anu eta se so o mu insult me brother na brother mi tu ho no ya de chen ana sister bi edi ka ko ka te me brother no se akola no akula sukura munye hwe ontimunya no hwe ni se ama anu yu anita ana mbla ti kai den ko ya na man no ne yiri nyina ho ana boys na apete ta de mo no bi to o ka tro mo se to man fa akula na nko hospital se ya ade o de be yo mo no e fa papa ma enti o ka za no na man no wife no ka ten se ya ne o mama no pita no fa ya no nti won twen 20 minutes na so mo fa no mi agro pra no mi ma sama e be to ma so mo ntena ho ana o dey because so nya din bi se o ka se ono no e ja akola no fa o be kan enti o mo ankasa e de e fa akola no e de ni ke da de no ko hospital nti o mo de no ko hospital wa no no so rush police station no ye de o ko report to mo hospital ti o mo na papa na ankasa de jani ni o mo tracy na later on mo ko hu na obi dem wife kra no yes o ma dia wan kire ba bia papa no wa o mo chi no e de na kwa anto mo kire ba bia papa no o mo ko no wa ku tu ne hu kunu na aro ke panu no ti o mo bu kunu na ni no mo no ko am de no ko a be chi mande no na mini 90 months of hospital no ma o di mu ye enti ko ye ai court ase ama ye court mo mo di injunction ai man edit mo so for 2 weeks. Next 2 weeks, no more for Mumbra. And I police furniture non power, a moment pay a moon. Well, no moon, minion. And ye back here now, say a cock of pepper, moon, young, for date to no swing. And I could not for no be a tower, a call me blouse, minion, or munya abujananka yenya samulafi nanka kabu sona bobio muti amhe na atem nti antiase medla na antiase ana rejecting
Kessben
meta chote meta
ayeto ka be mena
nti medla na antiase na rejecting no yanchi omunka biem nti yesuro se yehunu se dia nyampa o chira ai I postmortem na ekɔ no yesuro se bia anhwe a ɔmo ma good results bia enti yesre media no sɛ mo fa mani ni asɛm na chi na yenya yɛmfa asɛm no nto baabi a nɔkorɛ no da ɛno nti na sɛ yɛde asɛm no bɔ mo
92.9, a mountain of favorite songs. This is 92.9, the more music, more variety.
Where I said, what can you know about Kukrankam? It's in the Wagon Chebe for 0551 599 933. So now, Odiabam Yakin can 0551 599 933. Fabra, now Yakin can Wagon Chebe. Menkao currency ventures for Zahara man capsules no ebi da so wodwaso etibema wonya bia ebeboa wo maame tobi koma ukunu asem bia de ba bia odi jam mema na mema ni nya ho adaje a mo na ya ne agine mo etu oba on page na agine bia koto Zahara man capsules fashion bag anopa ukuru di wie no opia mane mene mienu anwumre so obeda mane mene mienu eno ano no maame eno ano obema one strong fit one asa enye se obema kitenkete David a pure organic our food and drugs for averti no ma approve kopebi na ebeboa wo na yesa wo Zahara G capsules ene Zahara mesha ene wo kabo mu ade ene se etu nam yade ase se gono sefre so de pua no ma tete wo koto Zahara G capsules ene Zahara mesha we capsules mienu ahwe mesha kakana de amane simanum ntem na wonum nsu aguso yemane nka ho anopani anwumre saa enam yade bia ya wo hawo bia no obetu amwade ho ena pressure ene diabetes nso yesamana ma hindi heba fa yunsu nanom anopa ene anwumre eno ano no ebe you pressure no ene wo diabetes na firi ho ama ho fa yen ewa homa true face so 0246348334 0246348334 ana 0555481382 0555481382 Future Life Smart Food aduane won so wudi a wo me na esa yade me so unya Future Life a ebeboa wo eyema ma ema mema eyema nkoda eyema mpanifo Future Life de onim se na menyam na akoda nnom na panini da bi da oda sane bia wa asase su bia waduane ene waduru eye Future Life Smart Food na ne tonic ne kura de metin so ma sorry wudi tuetue wanum toso aduane bia timidi ehiesu fanfan pa etu tiemi a kopa bito ewo sofu line alignment yene multi home opposite your number na 0246010150 0246010150 ana 0242878090 0242878090 Future Life Smart Food ehun adanse na medi akire wonum afei Lawson Herbal Mixture yakofa Lawson Mixture ba na de eye ne se oba wawo ba ko miru miensa na pese wo katua e ma ho kyene pa bre honam ya waposo wo chibra mu achi kase yade bi hawo wako na nkwa me pa tonya loss me hye bi tuatua eno ano no na wo ye no wan tisi mema nso e mema ye de eye delay man capsules na eno de wo ye ne se onum mienu anopa na onum mienu anwumre e ma wo che adwuma so pa e ma blood circulation so no a wo system no nyina ya adwuma yie ba bibia ntini no wo bia moja nko bia e moja no wurawura wo e ma wo ye active ko ye active e wo mpaso me pa cho wunya bia ebeboa wo enye na kopebito ana afre yen your number is 0242133577 0242 13 3577 0242133577 we Lawson for e ho adanse na media che Kofi
yeah kwa
mo akwa be na e se betimi your message
ye be messages ni bia fi opantu betimi de odi aba for Kessben FM online Kessben FM online and I say Kessben TV live now na ekoche wadwe na finance minister parliament or the media supplementary budget parliament into betimi de wadwe nche e de aba na ya kenka de ama kama entempa so na mami ko Facebook na yenyi ebi free we say or the free or say Kojo Asempa Furniture Works or say oh Kessben news is so powerful from Kojo Asempa Furniture Works our Edu Kumasi we so odoy tema or the free tema na about say hooray Asen North for NPP. Here we come. Nana B, well done. You fought a good fight. God Almighty bless you. Sarete. Okay, we say so say Skystone Derek. Or the about say I'm watching you live from Boaman Edukrom drugstore Derek. But I say Positive Change Medina was a under NPP led by Nanado. Nothing works effectively except selective justice, family and friends governance, lawlessness, corruption, intimidation, nepotism among the negative things. Are you called to lawyer Francis Sosu MP for Medina constituency? Okay, keep them coming. Kessben FM live now, and I say Kessben TV live. Nemubiano, what the fahorma ibet me? I can carry my kwame.
Kessben 92.9, 92.9, a mountain of favorite songs. This is 92.9, the more music, more variety. Perfect. 92.9, wake up. 92.9, the
and then meno mienu na ye program no enche be call a Parliament House na meba ho mabisa say expectation is saying papa no working kania e den pa na we expect ye na nsem ho ana ne ho emfa no no de owura menya for say chairman sabos na bebeli no owura chairman sanso jana na so pa enya adwuma wa wo kan na owura fi ho enso wo se mra sibeja for tenase number of hours bia obespend bia Ebra was in Yahu Adaji. The Pacho, Utim Ponisay. Sank when your mampany 1-on-1. And will be sunny on your mawa. Budget then I'll pay, say a piemu. The Pacho, Bonamba way to time national bia. Now about Homanaso. Over Fred 0551 444 933. The Pacho Chirato and Phrases here. Mr. Romanyas or any dim 0551 444 933. 0551 444 933. Now I don't share the 0551 599 933. 0551 599 933. Ho, and I bet me the one share Abba. Well, the guy, your message me for now quickly. You may or more. You may or more. More friend Randy Abubakar, mommy.
All right, we say good afternoon. Alibaba and Ziga, please. The chief should tell the mining company that it's their social responsibility to provide some of these social amenities to the people of Koniao, and they should request it from the miners. From Honorable Akosi J. Mensa of Asachrewa near Efijasi. Honorable Yarasepa, and I say, when you are Netiha, Nyakopon Kahopa, we say, Makacho say, me peudine ya boama. Okay, there be or say from Toronto G. Our Jacob Toronto G. Bisro Bombardian changes our message with my. De Biano Nadeba, de Biani reading sana a bibio to change my or say from Toronto G at Jacobu Crow from Hey Kessben Breaking News. We are listening to you live from Mama Fashion Design Shop at Jacobu Tonsum. Keep it up from your good work. For your good work. Okay. I say God bless you for your good work. Alibaba and Nanaya Abuama, Kessben, and greetings to my lovely mom. Okay. Hold on. Thank you very much.
And Rana Omahine Ayo program Kawasa will be phone lines. Na opani bi free akra ho baby. O se ne ba yare. Na ne ba no erekofa ya okuyi ne ba no. Wa anya full payment na anko. Omo diteni akwa no almost a week. Dauti abitu pa kwa ya sane ban yare awie no a e wo se e de charge akra no sika on betua sika kanenti akra ne da ho almost a week.
My goodness,
sasem ya bi na si conference conference enipa a doctor for ahwe omo awie a wo so omoko menua omo sa be bed na ma facility no
hospital
omo sa ti waje mpa aboso no kan won tua obey de wako na Inshanka Kessben Foundation hu ya pe enipa no a omo abodompim ewo konfanoche a ya de charge omo so munya sika ntwa omo ka no Kessben Foundation ko tua kan nyina ma wo ma afoforo kore so omo so e mo nyina omo kofi brand ye
ali baba
nipa no mo ye be say
ali say the way kan abon person ba ko e na opa yu mu a
business foundation on the cheap stay abonoma a bagina to ho na yasami yabe or da so at home na I know omoko no exam nipa de actually never seen no man no one more pem so meeting ni sikopuma bi yi won mo de hye nti wo mo kokobua na enu no ho eno mo kwa na doctor ko no ka ti ko ka foundation ko yi de mo ba de ne so nyo no nko na bi pinu a eno mo wa hu mu se mbotimi atene mo nsam bi aso no so a mse nko no nyina na betimi abo ali se sa ko konfo no chi aba ya nsa bia kamia ye se ni pinu a ne na mo ono mo ato mo a doctor fo a kire se mbotimi afo mo keta ko fie ne so no onipa no wo ko no sika kakra a ba ho no me ka wa bebo ne se otua ne ntini ene oboko to na mo ha ya odu won pa ya yi ni be se busumi num ni yi obi no ma yi ni be se busumi na no ni na empakoro no wanka foforo ba o meda ko no eno so e na se se won mo da ni na se o ma beda na ya president fo ya hwe ma wi ne so won mo ntini enko fie ne no e na Kessben Richards Foundation openi ba ko wodi ani minua Sami Edubuache okoko yi openi pa ya ono e na eye patron na se orumanyam for Stephen Boatin kwa bena kase asotire se wo mo ko ya ono mo ka ko yi wodi hye ba ko no ma ka ko pie nipa ba se dumi ensa so a wono nyina no awiyi akoro no e na wono mu eno na papa na ka che o se monko na monko kan wo nyina homa na wono mu entini enko fi asomdwem eni tu Sami Edubuache ene epie ma ne ko ya wono ko fifi no a na che se eka ya aka ho no no be se empen 45,000 Ghana cedi na eno na omo eye ya na chese Kessben Richards Foundation for betimi afro mu kakase fakase no anti eno dey na wono ko konfirm chi aban ya sabia we mo dey a check of 30,000 Ghana cedi 300 million ekoye se imududu no a ya betimi aso wono so no mo fantua emfa emma wo na nwa baba ni disem se de na abusuafo no ebu fa so bu mfompa ni nyina ne se we wono mo nti bi da e bi se na omunim da ya o ma de betimi afri apomudi bia honom atumi abafi intenia na ababa ye meji sem na lidia tie ne se na me se na ye 45,000 na se 450 million na Kessben Richards Foundation kwa etimi for mo 300 million ehwa na konfonochi abayan sabe mu penifo no so kwa asetena na wono mo se Kessben etimi aba na wa behuhu e kan mu fakase no ade ne mu penifo no so wono so emmo mo hu so kakra na de mo so betimi aya fa ho na ade hye kakra no aka no entimi nso won no wono betimi ahwe entimi padumi ensa no ebra Kessben Richards Foundation for ko na che se mu kakra de o matimi aba be san we muti etimi yoma de hye e mu nkono na aka enti en do sika no mutua ne de mu nkono no wonom na ye se wo mso mfa wo kete na wonom ko fi asomdue nti 15,000 na kan se 150 million no e ka chire no na confirmation penny forces de bida wonom so be fa sa aka no e de ama confirmation aban na nko so etimi atua enti wonom wanso mo so nyina no en do ahure yapon a wonom nyina fa wo kete wonom ekofi na busuafo ne nsem ne anigi nsem a wonom eka de kire Kessben Richards Foundation ne de na ekoni na este nyina no yetimi edi mu adam na ebo ko ya no Sami Edubuache ya wono na yebi Kessben Richards Foundation ni ekoye no e declare the same capacity that in nam so ama ekui ko ya wono maka ko yin san ko ko abaya ko
Kessben Outreach Foundation, a babyano information by a honeynipa frey, and then confirm some eto yenenim. Now, there are branches about quantity de betom and in Natchez. I'm here about 2,000, almost about 3,000 cities. Now, no adahanum after discharge in Yino, but no adahanum almost about 4 months. I want to me and yes, Kanya day. Enko tuane bill no. Metia Natchez I am a home to me catch your board anom so yenkonko yi no me fi hospital one nurse ba kwa pochi mi no chem say brasa me nipa da ha no mo no nti o timi nti o bill no edoso nipa be almost about 13 intermediate me report ama adwumawura Mr. Kwabena Kese and I'm catching the doctor this is the situation one was sending a text message back go and discharge all of them wow. On the Wakana Sao, go and discharge all of them. I'm so okay. International Society for not in penny for it didn't our swakakra. Nanyamia drum, your buy and so Dr. Oheneba ACU and a PR department, Omoji and Fesso. I'm almost okay. And if I don't say, no, course of the ane, you should be bit to me, Diaba. The coca me director was okay. Chia an X amount. In actual fact, and then me buy a list, no, say. Ebi mutimi ba betue bi ntini pa 13 no na baba beka 9 but there are two others I am call more different words. I'm say how B3 I do my account. So far no childhood into 30,000 out of 45 na a car and 45,000 a car no. And ye omunyina free on. I'm sure say a better DPF money per no will be at the honum from 7 months. Ye know that's there will be the 6 months. And ne nyamiadum omunyina any Kessben Outreach Foundation yadaroma. Maminda obi biase yana nipa bi etimi sendi and 50 pesos. Obitimi sendi 1 cedi. Obitimi sendi and $50. Obitimi sendi and €20. Omunyina yenda omunyina ase. Nemum no asida kese enkoma owura kwabena kese. Ono no ye financier sisika beba wo sika ma wo o se ye den kona koye because ono ankasa yi ni botom sika ye den e de support enti nyame adaroma yetime yoma o se yi omu nyina e de free word onom ye begina sa ayisu na ya sresre sorry ankrankra adwumaku ahodo ya omomra baby say ye konfa noche omomra ma meye nipa moa because nipa hia moa wa wo ba e wo hu se ni nipa se hia moa fa nti ye de adesrede na etu obi anim
92.9 the mountain of songs. This is 92.9 the more music, more variety. Perfect. 92.9 wake up. 92.9 the
New Life Cream. Nkwa osra eba natural color. We tuntum kokwa chocolate. We white. Belly hwinsim ebacho open natural color. A New Life Cream. Nkwa we use a black spot free wanim no. Na two o stretch marks ase. Kutwa anase tribal mark bi ne da ho na makwa ba bi na pesa opepa. We nya surgery asemia. Emfa on how deep it is. Wo de sra a New Life lotion she bi na he. Beto so be smooth pa. Na stretch marks kra mo de mo na mo pa no adu amunya no. Na dru e na make am fama we. Ma me frisha ba ko e wo machi ya. O krobata ba ko so wo abinchi market ya. We na chira kwa na friends see e obenya biato. Mo amu pa biatu aton so. Esan service employment ama me no me no. Your number is 0244870834. 0244870834. A+ publications. Oba e kwotro SSC ni bia. Enye late. Ye fast na pe A+ bi ma no. Na onso questions ne sa last days are always dangerous. Sa brain na niema yi unity. E ma kran fre ni nkoto apo bia so. Me say A+ publications busi. Say offer e bia English language and mathematics, social studies and science number of questions I be glancing through me say me ha mani obekono ubenya be 80% na a drop it na boy bi di breme o say ali uka A+ maximum copy bi e boa me pa ye mo kui me huri di kan amafo be me books enemy desk asese me tu apo omo say me lazy student ba book no boa no ama na we huri di kan ankrofo nti ase ye wa pe bi ma ba no ni nsua akona wutie me waji sika furu ma me ho a emfa nkoto kan bu nhye koto A+ publications omo print no de ebu da clear questions ni na de dem clear any answers o soko wanimu a that's ebo o ko pass SSC no JHS and SHS nko a and ya books ya dia mo subjects na ye ni nyina o ma print questions and answers aba ubenya biato ewo ahensan ha ya your number no e 0540845050 0540845050 bomade ne se obenya bi unya bi a ebebo apa hwabre no premo ato apa wesima aduanan 1244 Kessben 93.3 FM Shuni
92.9 the mountain of favorite songs. This is 92.9 the more music, more variety. Perfect. 92.9 wake up. 92.9 the
Hello Ima.
Hello.
Now saying
Nyamiado.
Na osi we member ewo teachers ekuobe mu a
Coalition of Concerned Teachers CCT.
Coalition of Concerned Teachers.
Yes please.
Mo ya recognize nagrat ne nat ne hwama fo nyina ni mu.
O mu ni na ni me pa.
Na mo president ana mo chairman ne hwan?
Audu
no o ye station o hefa.
Ono Accra.
And I wear there were equity.
Me a member.
we a member.
I'm a Asokore Mampo municipal.
Na mo pasa mo kire se mo authorities anase mo top hierarchy no adi mo hwamo ekwan ba so a.
Yeah. Amadi ahwama okwan bebre so. And say CCT ekura ya joining from NAT and NAGRAT. And I agree members of NAT and NAGRAT. And ya ti ya be joining CCT. And nam akwan na sa kuo mienu we no amwa in terms of negotiations and teachers welfare. And ya be joining CCT. Na ya ba CCT no. In fact, I'm say things are worse off. And I say, Chief, Emra, elections of executive or Asokore Mampo municipal CCT. But you say elections, the secular square aba, a pages to say, there were court injunctions square adaso. Anna, a friend should see conducting elections our crime pa faso elections. Members eba tuaba near executives mobile dear but yantia ne acquire any mako 5 ya want chairman secretary organizer and a welfare officer sanko for we mama bomudin and I assume one person from regional office say Oma Femi Omo as executive for Asokore Mampo. Na master the attend say chairman now Omo for Asokore Mampo no Omo imposing him on acts no kra no. Onye teacher ni wo municipality ni. On chira dia wo any school in Asokore Mampo municipal ni. Wono wo metro. Ana Omo di na ba Asokore Mampo so Omo CCT chairman. Mintis as a way be prada. And Nippon about me, Busana say, Master. One Asuma was a Suman from regional office. And I'm Musa and Sana, one ever poor about Amasa, Nippa for now, or more as executives, members Ben ever tuaba. CCT Asokore Mampo, Kuta members who plan on our platform page, you could Nipa almost 200. And Obianya aware what is happening. Until now, injunction at that elections, no, and I'm more for a sumasi contrase, yes, I am or more yanana. Na a chrono, and Santinia for me, coon. And only a hawa, your person regional, and assorted, non national, so assorted say, sir, municipal Mumpon, of course, you said, yeah, then district, any small villages, what is happening there? And here, as Asokore Mampo there, we will not understand until say ya file forms and ya executive ama ya kotuaba I elect you and son ya betia say yes sir your mobile ya no there you will not understand. I don't know how we ya ka ho asem
na abato no koso abato no ekoso
abato no the man no buy no okuta nipa okuta list e won phone so ano obodia no one man says no identify and he told us that he is going to write his reports sir wabaya election every
I was say or free easy the bayana
one free easy or maybe so free he was he a friend of the name obonidi me recording.
No, so one a suman so be conduct election.
Or see a suman from regional office.
For Momo CCT phone.
A CCT, yes, CCT regional office.
Now, Momo regional chairman, no way.
Your regional chairman, as at now, because of the elections, you need to know. You don't know who is this, who is that.
Now, why not chairman and sana injunction neighbor?
I would the chairman. Say minim Midian Kasabat minim Isaac. He is the PRO.
Eti papaya when they can say me or catch yourself wine a sumano from region so me conduct this election.
Or no, or say or CCT chairman one of the regions. Umba region Umba Wanka.
Nti abatu mujitum.
Yanjintum. You can't accept this election, this as an election.
Nese mo how pa say.
And here how ne say. And one, Adentina Obia only Asokore Mampo municipal. Teachers were Asokore Mampo ya forming CCTV over 200. Now you will be free metro. So on my chama I was Asokore Mampo. Yantiasie.
Na me pacho ekue muti ye di be say.
It's more than 10 years.
Na mo ya kyerɛkyerɛfo yi a monim enwoma die me sure say ekuo no a constitution.
Exactly.
Na ade na mo constitution ka fa ho.
Your constitution no akasasa at every 4 years and there should be an election of executives. Ya region, ya district, ya region, ya national. And this year, so no, Nanka was here last year, but because of the COVID-19, and Timiama, but there were issues. Our court today in Junction, which we have letters to that effect.
In this case, you know, say, the Pacono Bell conduct election in Omoshire, as you know, so contempt bet you will move.
Exactly.
And you, Monkai court, no, said the Equasuni. When you court was 3. Say or caught on the blind side of the Akosi ne Quachi the Akosi ni.
And you know, Nami Busasa national the letters by say we should suspend all elections. You know, I Nasa for Kuntuna say underground elections now. Or Mumma member be where. And now say where is it coming from? That is our problem.
Okay. Because Mukroya na Mufri Nagratim. Mukro no na mufri natim so mo niamanye na mo niamanye na mo ba mo niamaya afego da bagin samu
amodo ya west of Krachen not and nugget
e dey say mo tim ho akohe
minya kwantie dissolve associations ni na obi ande ne ho no obi ande ne ho
Ghana obi sire bia na ne yankuzu
oh yes
yen nyina yen sire mo da obekwa na obi su pa no kan wu at the same time obi so sere pa obi se kwakwa na obi su pa at the expense of nini huh
I'll send you a phone numbers chama no mo betimi afra na busan se Asokore Mampo he no okira de omo busan no oni ano amayen se he no okira de so your friend badu enti ebetimi afra na busan se Asokore Mampo na wo ye CCT chama he no okira de wo on kan kire
92.9
na wanga sa okira de we
me wo I Nuria Emme.
O chere
JHS. Me a science teacher.
O de say.
You're from Emmanuel.
Kabana tufo. Me da se pa.
Me so me da se.
92.9. 92.9 the mountain of favorite songs. This is 92.9 the more music, more variety. Perfect. 92.9. Wake up. 92.9
Montier you
Arismama yet tiabeti na ne cha no menka la precious academy ho asem nche otiawa ebi a wo ye adwuma ewa abu akwa nsunyame ye mpotem ho tanoso ene ne kwado ana se ho na wote ukọ adwuma yi bebia do ba befa kora ba ya asem ama ho me hwe ni die mu a hwe kira kwan ewo nsunyame ye ekoko shed na chipe ye je nkoda no from day one akora na yawo na to nga akora ye je akoda no etete nkoda no akusi P3 ye fully furnished classroom ye indoor playhouse serene learning environment very hygienic environment akora no ko school a on fa infection bia mafie da bida school fees no so da fem me pa cho frey en wa homa true face so 0547 526 464 0547 526 464 ahoma no so aye Kinsley anyimadu be me na atime kan mo akwa ba o
ina me yoso
brother akona CCT molesh na mu koyi yese emebe atwa mu no obi kura de tabo kura free court abeto so aka sa abrimpo den kan be na makam court asema wie prekope yese asokorema mpo branch krade omo conduct election wabra members no enya we me pa cho wankasa woda su kura dibre no say Ashanti region chairman
me Ashanti regional chairman.
Good.
And I am in charge of the region. I'm Ifechiri Emakuni president and council, you know.
Na idea wo asokorema mpo wo ya we enchiremu ne say
minia kamesro say kinslani medudie mo frame de bia say men kasa mo fidie kase so a ya na ma ko akra but issue we no mesre se ubi agitated say BBSia adesrede na mesre ni panu fa ni petition and to paper so na you company for na yenhwe. I don't think so we will be fair to the process and na union no na ye be kasa ansem we ewo afidi so enti ani dim mesrew
o besrese
enka ena maka no mintimi engine afidi so enka especially be kwa me one crying. Minya briefing bia in fact as a regional chairman Mokrana ma tie free mo.
Oh okay. Any me pa cho una regional chairman.
Yes.
Ena election e course wo asokore man pon ni mo hwe.
Minka say minim ho hwe. The complaint say ya kwose sankrofobia ene na msinya complain bia sa
but me pacho ani die ma me ntiase say wo ya we say election bia koso asokore mampon as a regional chairman
we started the process
at election akoso
me pacho yes or no question answer
answer we obi aka straight forward say election bia koso et we regional chairman die ma me hu say akoso an enkoso
obi no obi
Oya member wache na chira kwa baby ochira de
oya member some so mama address
ya chira say we regional chairman
me catch you say opani enyina nkran ni mututu nkran ne address ye na me desro
o da bi me no ntwema so say we ja me pese wo trema asem na ma me kwa
yes enti me nya briefing entry me officers am de me chija omo
okay say me briefing dia wo say untimi nka wa bra obi anka hwenkyere wo nemmom wo ya regional chairman de ubetimi aka chem say yes or no say election akoso asokore mampo ene de ubet so yi ano election akoso asokore mampo yes or no
minua
oh anyi ano de na say wo da wadwuma so because so obi say abato akoso e bia wonsan hyase woni mo hwe ana woni mo bibi
minua o frɛ me no say dem di kan say Kessben ye fidi a me nemo ebeye we say but the way we handle issue no won't mean kasem leader o medjuma so just one issue ti ameka kire wo say minya proper briefing
okay
nti ma me kwan na me proper briefing no ne nkasa biem o ka kire me say leader o medjuma so you are being unfair to me
enti and fa chemtie
you cannot push me
me pacho te Mr. Ajimadu
in communication
Mr. Ajimadu eti o de enfami ko school ha me pacho enfami ko school ha o de enfami ko school ha there be o de communication nya ye bi but say we regional chairman na election akoso ayi constituency and district sha wase e bia na woni ho hwe ana woni hu bibi enti we de answer we de wan fa mame a wo mo no anya fair to me
na me catch us say wo mo na you are not being fair to me ma catch us say me de me chireja enti omo mo kwa elections no in fact no anajo I told omo mo call sanko mo Kenya meji omo briefing enenyu me na me sankaya na cheso obi de report about honti na me kasa
Mr. Ajimadu mesra onyante masesero tio
matu ase
dabi o onyante maseo dabi tie wo so de wachi agya onkrofo bi wachiri ana omo ko conduct election in your name nti be say me dem hu say ha ho kra ni briefing election akoso na election course we are regional chairman we are aware say
when you ask that question it will lead to another question so if we need proper information how do I so boss understand me some proper briefing e bia me kwa me fro I say oh I'm back so let's talk more information simple
because ebe mo pa say obi besesa ayi ekuo no niema akogina district e hye wase se okokondat election abla onya we ebia na o man kan che wo se bra me nya we ana me ya we
asemo me kan senior asemo me ka che oni say mechi agya nkrofo bi enti sabe unti wo na o program uni ho no obi be ya na ese unhu bibia asi nyina obi flower obetimi aka bibia asi nyina
me de machi beja me de machi beja in this case maybe say omo ade wachi ja wo no o catch omo so omo conduct election ma wa
senior let us be fair to each other and I'm just pleading with you that I will never speak to those issues when I'm not properly briefed. Understand me?
Me mate wase na matie fo nte wase da because ultimi kan je me say omo ade acheja omo ade acheja wo no o ka chom say omo conduct election na say wanka na omo ekoye ma wo
watie fo nte ase a me pa omo chew say omo ensusu omo hwese nko omo shemishu mu a enka omo ebe yesa na uye penia on kasa keke because obi radio afro se kasa ese minya proper briefing now obebusa me yes or no question there minia you are not being fair to me and the issue na o kanu say bibi asia enye radio so na me gina mbe rant member na odi assembly ba ho no probably or genuine case entino I'm advising him. So our petition on baby regional office on baby national office they can want them. But only because my cousin radio, especially Kessben, man. Mamma na minya proper briefing. So that I am common am come up. Now won't I say
that's my do nya dia betima say na menso mente wasinti ye betwa so memfa ni die mama tiefo because me ka say me twini twan a ye wo question bi on mo a yes or no untimi kofa none of the one me kan A and B no way back it is a question we enye no na enye yes nko ade a baba na me ka kire because yes ni no na e wo ho back
mina onim bibi
answer, mama. You have no idea. Meanwhile, when
I have proper briefing, I can give you an answer that is
92.9. 92.9, a mountain of favorite songs. This is 92.9, the more music, more variety. Perfect. 92.9, wake up. 92.9, the...
Arishmama, don't kwa bo apa hosima miensa. Me gidi yesemu a me somo de mo betemase. Se ye freli pe wa fidie so a na asembia no yie no onya ye nhye no. Me shemo ni di mamunti. Se obi so obi asembia fa ono no na bra bom ni niam bi ho a ofisa no yie be ha no ene ye ha nipa no. But asema me ni yin ni ejina fa kwan ka me masem ye twan so no na asem ye twan bi a wo na betemase ye ne se. Wo na aye regional chairman. Ena obi wodi wachi agya ena wodi mu obi akọ conduct election o baby ena se me ko gina baby sam ye Kessben FM representative e program bi ase a asema meka bia na o se efiri o man ho na eba because o man ya ma me kwan ma me ko gina Kessben nim anamu dia ena ye Kessben ase na me ko kan enti se woni ho na de wachi agya wo mu a mo hwe akire ma wa wo so o makoda conduct election so o mpo de wonyi ntum se bibia koso na bibi nkoso eti adwuma na ade ma wo mo hwe akire ma wo no na eka won se wo mo conduct election ma wa na David de ene na se wo mo de udin akoya ade foforo enye onu won pese obeka se ani no won pese obeka se David
se o mo di ni din akoya election ah na chese o mo institution ni e week de make na what I say se o mo di ni din akoya election eno no na ase chairman no ni mo hwe a na chese
ono kase oni mu o pese obegi atum kasa aposo na
ko yam fa ne so oni mu hwe yam fa de wo kan wase o chairman okọ baby eno odi na chireja ene enya information say o ma conduct election in fact me read omo national de na o ma suspend national de na o ma suspend omo ayini na no omo elections ni na district na ayini na no Oma suspend no. And almost say boy na ka say ya suspended but election koso. Ya kwa kofu obi aba e de aba be show bani. Usu woni hono. Aho de bi chi. Wo baby. And that omo adu o chi agya no you have to get a brief from them. What the amfa no nto nche. Ba se kwame se owie ne so be ka kire say ne kwese bibia koso a. Na say institution ye weak papa. na che so uni ho a obi abetimi aye de opɛ
ɛna ɔse etimi de me so me
na se obi abetimi aye de opɛ ti o de yɛmfa nkonko ho ɛne yɛsi enua ne sia nyame yɛ adom ɔkyena ɛne de yɛkɔ parliament na Dr. Loss abanti
Dr. Loss
nyame yɛ adom ɔkyena
prepare comment yɛkɔ parliament house ya makɔ aba
ya eja
totola tallest yɛsi de otia no ho ɔdene papa yes, Kumano be kese omumu. Kumano so papa. One your friend delay man. Obojuma pa. Supported by
Lawson Heba.
And also so ready.
And also pressure.
Wow.
This o compassion as obo periperia. O kan menu bomu periperi ne jai. O ko ba ko pe no watiada. O ka bomu a o ko ba ko menu miensa na so ndwa ba fie.
Wow.
I don't know.
And a penny pan so.
And a penny pan so the enamu yari biara.
We free hokra.
Yari bia be yine free honum.
Wow.
Michia etiefo ne ahwefo a mo hwe efidikase yi. Em se
Arishmama ene ye transne de nsami bremo na yanko adwira empotem ho a e ka me se na ya update mu ankasa enye ne epɛ no na so nyame ncha de atofam sefam enura mote malam yankuta de enka ewo adwira ebra ye hu se ndc amonyokio enye ompanimfo koye omde omani kwahwe na omokoye ayiye ne bie ekramofo aye fen adoha enura ekoso asomdwem na dodo na kyerɛkyerɛ omadwen na de ya ne se ablante ne wuo no amanfo ya no amanyosem a me no mi nyina ye peye mani ya yenso soso ene nkran saka ne se amampani abede akire Dr. Alhaj Mahmoud Baumia wono nso wa na dwen se obeba adwira se wakoduru ho se wonkoduru ho ene fie yama mo salamu alaikum na yemi so mo se vice president wabedu ana ebrebe na obeduru na ono mbe fre nyame abomu ana asesen ahoma no so osempakani yam akwaba
super
we malam ya yanka mane de fatia hyase ma yen na nso wakwaya kristoni na nkramofo nso asum nyame ba akopa yasum nko ade yeni kan hwe atmosphere no ankasa ewo adwira ye wi a ya bankomo na ankasa so se obi tie yen ewo baabi na what be 4-5 days ago what did you see adwira picture be na wo twasi se nipa no edi so am ye hu ne ekoso ankasa ewo adwira
bra me da se de wadi kan edi atudwa no na wo hwe se de sare na hodo ebo ewo adwira ha no a na bra asrafo eni aposifo na sisi amno kasa de o maye adwira ha ema na wo hwe cars ahodo a ne ya aposifo cars eni asrafo cars ya ema cars another can say so any taxi no intimi enko intimi ema na bra ne nyina ejina abrantie kaka enipa bi aje ne kra efiri ne nsem na ekobaaye na emagu na omo wa adwira eye se omo ntia asem be patent ne amamu ni abeman ekowi ase omo ne aposifo ani asrafo kabo mu na adetutu ko so ema nipa minu eti nananom ewo nse de no aya de se mpanimfo ahodo no a edi omani monyam be pie mu ewo adwira krodua mu ha omode ya konsem ene hyede nsem ade ma abusua ene adofo no enyina ene na Ghana mampani abedi akire Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia ono so ene ne mpanimfo abepie mu ewo adwira ha ono so ene ne yakọ ene ne hyede nsem a wode be ma abusua sisi ai no ade ato omani no na bra se odi kan eri tuwa no omampani abedi akire ebaaye no ayade se okọ barima osai hwede ono eneye adwira ehene okọ ne na so awe na himfie na mane nyina no wode bọ no na asante mante mu so afọ mu nyamfo Simon osai mensa ono enegina mu a okasa ede ma Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia na ne nsem yodi tuwa nyina ne se na anu awra husem wesi ewa adwira no esenti na Ghana mampani abedi akire omo aba nan etu anamon ade ba adwira krom na omo so seden ene ya konsem no omo so atimi ade amawo mo na wasere omo se saa abajoku a amampani atie ese omo nya nhwehwemu ewa asemu nu no omo nya gidie ene ahotoso ewo mumu ese saa enafu adu a Ghana mampani ɛde asɛ wɔn nsa no wɔde asɛm no hwehwɛ mu nyinaa ɛbɛba na yie akɔtɔ baabi a ɛda na mampani abɛdi akyire so no ɛyɛ ade sɛsɛ am no ka sɛ wɔwurawura abusua no afie a wɔkyeakyeakyea wɔ mu yɛfiri hɔ pɛ ɛyɛ ade sɛ ɛbɛkɔ Central Mosque na wɔne yɛ nnuamu nkramofu ahodoɔ no akɔyɛ asɔre Friday prayers yɛfrɛ no Juma no na ɔmampani abɛdi akyire ɛne dɔm ahodoɔ a ɛbaa yɛ no nyina no akɔyɛ saa Juma no na ɔmampani abɛdi akyire ba no ɛnya de so no nkuto ɛne baayɛ National Chief Imam ɔno so ɛka ho ne mpanimfo ahodoɔ a ɛwɔ Nzongo wa Asante Mantem no man Ghana mu no nyinaa de no nyam ɛbɛdi akyire na bra kasa ne nyamu no ɛyɛ ahemfie hɔ no ɛyɛ adeɛ sɛ barima ɔsɛe hwɛdeɛ ɛkasa kakra ɛna wɔkyerɛ sɛ yɛtwerɛ din mpo ɛwɔ adwula ɛne ne mpɔtam mu a ɛyɛ adeɛ sɛ ntɔkwa yɛkɔsa la akora kɔdi aduane a akɔyɛ ntɔkwa nti ɔn deɛ ɔbɛhu mi ɔbɛsrɛ paa sɛ deɛ ɛbɛyɛ na bambom bɛtumi awore tawee ɛwɔ adwula ɛne ne kɔmu na saa basabasayɔ ɛne atitiri asɛm no ɛbɛdura ase nti no ɔbɛsrɛ Ghana aban ɛsɛ animuanimu yia no ɛnka wɔnya military detachment bi ɛwɔ ha firi sɛ wɔhwɛ yɛ Asante Mantem mu na wodi firi mampɔn ɛde bɛsɛ no kɔsi yɛgye no ɛnya adeɛ sɛ military detachment bia ɛwɔ kwan no so nti wo mi sɛ kebi ba epom efiri adwira no a kɔsi yɛgye no yɛsi bi wɔ a bɛma saa titiri asɛm ɛne saa nsɛm yɛ mpempem yɛ ti ma ne homene so na ɛforo tena asumdie so no ne nyinaa asa aba fam ɛhɔ no wansa ama no anso ɔsa de to Ghana mampani na bɛdi akyire Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia anim sɛ ɔbɛsɛ no yie paa sɛ wohwɛ sɛ asɛm bi asi na ɛfa polisi ho nsɛnsɛm no a ɛnam sɛ adwira ɛhyɛ mampɔn division ase nti no ɛyɛ a na ɛmmoa ɛma nneɛma ɛnkɔ so wɔ ano enti no wayi asase yantam ato hɔ a ɔbɛsere Ghana mampani abɛdi akyire ɛne mpanimfoɔ ahodoɔ nyinaa ɛsɛ ɔmo mmoa na ɔmo mpere police division bi ɛmbere adwira ha sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ a asɛm si na polisifoɔ a ɛwɔ adwira ne sɛkyerɛdom ase ɛne ne nkurotoɔ ɛne ne nkwa no nyinaa no ɛtumi de asɛm no akɔdan Asante Mantem mu polisi mpanimfoɔ ne firi hɔ a akodu IDP anim na asɛm no poma sibire no bra yɛapɛ no ntɛntɛm ama nneɛma nyinaa akɔ so bɔkɔɔ na ne sɛ nti no ɛyɛ adeɛ sɛ Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia Ghana mampani abɛdi akyire ehu sɛ anamɔ nana etuo na bɛboa ama asumdie afa ntoma pɛfra na ɔman no nka nkɔ ne yie yo ɛso akɔ n'anim nti no ɛyɛ adeɛ sɛ waboa na wama wɔn ɛnka ne sika 500 million sɛ dwumadie a nana ɛfɛsi wɔdie na ɔde prayer
wabusuafoɔ mo nso mabɛhwɛ kamakama mohwɛ mɔbrɛ no a dɔnkɔ aba apa wo sima du baako Greenwich Meridian Cham ɛfɛ paa 1313 yɛnkɔ Parliament House ne yɛnkɔhwɛ yɛse Finance Minister aba was start quite a long time stay tuned yɛnkɔ tie ne ɛkɔ so
92.9. This compares well with a reserve position of 9.2 billion, equivalent to 4.3 months imports cover in the corresponding period last year. Mr. Speaker, we are managing the finances of the country with discipline and competence. The fiscal operations for the period January to June 2021 indicate that the overall deficit was 22.32 billion Ghana cedis, equivalent to 5.1% of GDP. The corresponding primary balance for the period was a deficit of 7.3 billion cedis, equivalent to 1.7% of GDP, against a target of 4.8 billion Ghana cedis, or 1.1% of GDP. We will continue to pursue our fiscal consolidation agenda to ensure that we remain within the appropriation given by this august House. Mr. Speaker, I would like to note that notwithstanding our elevated debt levels as a result of COVID-19, our inflation rate is lower than it was in 2016. Our interest rates are lower than they were in 2016. Our exchange rate is more stable than it was in 2016. Our foreign exchange reserves are much higher than they were in 2016. And we did not have to lay off any workers, nor cancel teacher and nursing training allowances. Furthermore, we did not go to the IMF for a bailout program, neither have we built an interchange for the price of 3. This is because we have managed the economy much better than it was managed up to 2016. Let us, Mr. Speaker, not forget this. On the back of these and other deliberate policies, our country has attracted more foreign direct investment in the midst of the pandemic. As of end June 2021, total FDI into the country was valued at $954.2 million, indicating an increase of 71.2% from US $557.2 million recorded over the same period last year. Mr. Speaker, the strong rebound in growth, the low inflation rates, the stable currency, the strong reserve position, and FDI flows are clear indicators of an economy in recovery. Indeed, the strategic investments we collectively made in building strong economic fundamentals in the 3 years prior to this pandemic, as well as the subsequent speed, scope, and scale of our socio-economic response to the pandemic, is fueling our recovery. Mr. Speaker, I stand before this august House today to assure the nation that our transformation agenda is very much on course. However, with COVID-19 still with us, it is important to stress that the recovery is only the beginning, a beginning that requires our collective sense of responsibility and action as citizens to guide, protect, and participate in the recovery efforts. Mr. Speaker, this mid-year fiscal policy review that I'm presenting does not come with a supplementary budget, and our revised fiscal framework for 2021 is kept within the fiscal target of 9.5% of GDP. We are staying within the 2021 appropriation. Respectfully, Mr. Speaker, let me repeat. I'm not here today to ask for more money. I have not come. Mr. Speaker, I'm not here today to ask for more money. I have not come to ask for more taxes. I have come to update the House on the performance of the economy for the first half year of 2021 and our plans for the unexpired term of the year consistent with Section 28 of the PFM Act. One of the serious impacts, Mr. Speaker, of the COVID-19 pandemic has been the loss of jobs, which has exacerbated the unemployment problem, particularly among the youth. As such, government is ready with a comprehensive program to tackle this intractable problem. The goal is to create employment opportunities for 1 million of our young people over the next 2.5 years by igniting, Mr. Speaker, a high spirit of entrepreneurship. We will count on the support of this august House for this. Our focus on taxes is to collect what is due the Republic. To this end, we are building a robust framework to expand a domestic revenue mobilization to focus on compliance and enforcement nationwide. We have established, Mr. Speaker, the Revenue Assurance and Compliance Enforcement, RACE, R-A-C-E. The remit of RACE, Mr. Speaker, is to identify and eliminate revenue leakages in areas such as petroleum bunkering, gold and minerals exports, port operations, transit goods, warehousing, border controls, and free zones operations, to name but a few. Mr. Speaker, I will now present an assessment of the programs we have and continue to implement in line with our strategy for completion, consolidation, and continuity, which is the theme for the 2021 budget and economic policy. These programs address the concerns of our fellow Ghanaians, especially our youth, and demonstrate our commitment to create sustainable and inclusive opportunities for all. Mr. Speaker, in fulfillment of our completion pledge, we have completed a number of projects and activities, including but not limited to the 4-tier interchange at Pokwase, the first of its kind in West Africa, to ease and second in Africa, to ease travel constraints and enhance our productivity. The 85-bed Central Gunja District Hospital, located in Boape, to improve access to quality health care. Key strategic factories to provide jobs and accelerate our industrialization agenda, including the new factory of Premium Foods Limited at Ejosu in the Ashanti region, one of the leading agribusiness in Ghana. Nano Foods Limited, pineapple juice processing factory at Nsewem. Phase 1 of B5 steel plant in La Plega in Ningo Pram, which when fully completed will become the biggest steel factory in West Africa. Toyota Tushu vehicle assembly plant in Tema, successfully securing the removal of Ghana from the Financial Action Task Force grades list, which has enhanced access to global markets and finance for our businesses, and the signing of seven implementation compacts under the Ghana Cares Obatampa program. Mr. Speaker, towards consolidating the gains made, we have, among others, pursued prudent macro-fiscal policies that puts us back on track to restore economic stability and growth, fostered a resilient financial ecosystem under Ghana Cares by establishing the building blocks for stronger and catalytic collaboration between institutions such as the Ghana Incentive-Based and Risk-Sharing Scheme for Agricultural Lending, GESAL, Ghana Commodity Exchange, GCS, Venture Capital Trust Fund, and the Restructured Ghana Enterprises Agency, formerly MBSSI, to anchor a new age of entrepreneurship, job creation, and wealth building for our post-COVID transformation. We issue the historic foreign currency denominated zero-coupon bond in our financing mix that's creating the fiscal space to build our financial resilience, and revamp the energy sector to further stabilize electricity supply for households and businesses. Mr. Speaker, our pledge on continuity has also driven us to continue to implement the phase 2 of the Ghana Cares Obatampa program to revitalize our economy after a successful execution of the stabilization measures in phase 1. Continue to implement our key flagship programs, including Free SHS, PFJ, 1D, 1F, among others, to enhance the quality of life of our people and further advance our transformation agenda. Continued our environmental agenda by embarking on a war against illegal mining, Galamsey, to preserve our water bodies and protect the environment. And continue government's historic partnership with labor and employers, and also with the faith-based organizations. Mr. Speaker, in addition to the above, we've continued to provide the needed resources, equipment, and personnel to maintain security and peace within our borders. We are on course, Mr. Speaker, to transform the security services to enable them to adequately respond to emerging national and sub-regional threats. Mr. Speaker, we are aware of various conversations and we will take appropriate measures at the right time, and we beg this House to support us in that bid. In line with government's agenda to enhance our global stature, Ghana placed a bid and was elected as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council for the 2022-2023 term. Additionally, His Excellency the President was also elected unanimously for a second term as chairman of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of the Economic Community of West Africa States, ECOWAS. President Akufo-Addo remains co-chair of the United Nations and Sustainable Development Goals Advocate Group with Norway's Prime Minister, Erna Solberg. He is also the AU champion for both financial institutions and gender affairs. As a result of the increased international visibility and exemplary leadership of the President during this pandemic, government has been able to procure and administer 1,271,393 doses of COVID-19 vaccines, while 865,422 people have received the first dose, 405,971 have been fully vaccinated with the second dose at the end of June this year. Mr. Speaker, our diplomatic efforts are yielding results and we are expecting to receive through the COVAX facility 1.2 million Pfizer vaccines from the United States of America, 249,600 AstraZeneca vaccines from the United Kingdom. In addition, government has committed itself to purchase through the African Medicine Supply Platform 17 million Johnson & Johnson single-dose vaccines. Furthermore, the President has set up a committee dedicated to facilitating our domestic capacity to manufacture COVID-19 vaccines, beginning with the process of fill and finish. Mr. Speaker, on the economic front, the additional policies and strategies outlined in the Ghana CD 100 billion Ghana Cares Obatampa program will be vital in our journey towards economic recovery and transformation. Our strategy to place the private sector at the heart of this endeavor is to accelerate competitive import substitution and export expansion to generate sustainable jobs for our teeming youth under 35 years of age, who make up about 71% of our population. Mr. Speaker, the unemployment situation in our country has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. This is a situation which will confront aggressively. Indeed, it is an issue that will be at the forefront of our national discourse. The future of our young people and their livelihoods are of utmost importance to us as a nation. It requires urgent action, and the President has directed that we consolidate and implement new programs and projects to address it. It is crucial to our destiny. Mr. Speaker, over the course of this year, like many of my colleagues in government and in this House, I have traveled around the country, engaged with the people, especially young people. We have listened to them and heard their concerns. 8 weeks ago, Mr. Speaker, I visited Tamale and Sunyani and interacted with thousands of young people. Also visited Chebi and Triapiase, drawn from various universities and tertiary institutions as part of the Springboard Foundation program. I also participated in both the Accra Springboard and NUC's annual leadership training programs. These interventions, Mr. Speaker, provided me with yet another opportunity to experience at first hand the expectations and aspirations of our young people. Our responsibility as government is to accelerate our response. In connection with that, I have had extensive discussions with my colleague ministers of employment and labor relations, youth and sports, and lands and natural resources. New programs will be introduced and existing ones scaled up and refocused to meet the aspirations of our youth. We will work together to sensitize and connect the youth to the numerous opportunities being made available by government, including a strategy to create jobs and business opportunities for 1 million Ghanaian youth by 2024. So far, we've developed 5 new programs, including an exciting U-Bank program. Mr. Speaker, the good people of Ghana have given us another 4-year mandate to manage the country, mitigate the impact of COVID-19, and pursue our transformation agenda of equal opportunities and prosperity for all. We are in the 7th month of the journey and executing the mandate with diligence, integrity, and faith, and we are determined to overcome the challenges that confront our nation. Let us join hands to build a more inclusive, confident, and hopeful society. COVID-19 has caused enough havoc, but we are resilient and confident people and should not allow ourselves to be defeated by the negatives. As 2 Timothy 1:7 tells us that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and a sound mind. We should have courage, Mr. Speaker, hope, and resolve to work hard and expect that the Almighty God, whom most of us believe and serve, will look kindly on us and bless the work of our hands. Mr. Speaker, I now proceed to give details of developments for the first half year of 2021 and will conclude with the outlook for the rest of the year. Mr. Speaker, Since the presentation of the 2021 budget to this August House in March this year, global growth recovery has generally strengthened, supported by the ongoing mass vaccinations and the general relaxation of COVID-19 restrictions, as well as continued policy support. However, the emergence of new COVID-19 variants and potentially third waves in parts of the world, as well as disruptions of the vaccination efforts across emerging market and developing economies, is creating some uncertainty and threatening to undermine global recovery efforts. Economic recovery in most emerging markets and developing economies is expected to slow down, mainly due to continuous non-availability of vaccines. Mr. Speaker, to put the assessment of the performance of the economy for the first half of 2021 in perspective, permit me to restate the macroeconomic targets set for 2021 as presented in the 2021 budget as follows. Overall real GDP growth of at least 5%, non-oil real GDP growth of at least 6.7%, end period inflation of 8.0%, fiscal deficit of 9.5% of GDP, primary deficit of 1.3% of GDP, and gross international reserve to cover not less than 4 months of imports of goods and services. Mr. Speaker, even though the second quarter 2021 gross domestic product data is yet to be released by the Ghana Statistical Service, provisional data for the first quarter 2021 show that the recovery process from the COVID-19 pandemic is gaining some momentum, and the targets for most of the macroeconomic indicators are largely on track. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I now present highlights of the 2021 half-year fiscal performance. The implementation of the 2021 budget has been successful so far. We remain fully committed to achieving the fiscal deficit target of 9.5% of GDP for the year in order to not to derail from the objective of returning to the Fiscal Responsibility Act fiscal deficit and primary balance thresholds of 5% of GDP and positive primary balance respectively by 2024. Mr. Speaker, the provisional fiscal data for January to June 2021 show that total revenue and grants amounted to 28.3 billion Ghana cedis, equivalent to 6.5% of GDP, against a program target of 32.4 billion Ghana cedis, or 7.5% of GDP. For the same period, total expenditure, including the clearance of arrears, amounted to 50.6 billion, equivalent to 11.7% of GDP, against a program target of 55.1 billion, or 12.7% of GDP. Mr. Speaker, the fiscal deficit for the period was financed from both foreign and domestic sources. Net foreign financing of 15.2 billion Ghana cedis constituted 68.3% of the total financing and included inflows from Eurobond proceeds. On the other hand, total domestic financing amounted to Ghana cedis 7.1 billion, representing 31.7% of total financing. Public debt development. Mr. Speaker, the total public debt stock as a percentage of GDP increased from 76.1% at the end of December 2020 to 77.1% of GDP at the end of June 2021. This stock includes the financial and energy sector bailouts. Excluding the financial sector bailout, the nominal debt stock as a percentage of GDP is 72.9%. The increase in the debt stock was mainly because of the Eurobond issuance of April 2021, COVID-19 pandemic effect, contingent liabilities, and front-loading of financing to meet cash flow requirements for the first half of this year. Mr. Speaker, the loss of human capital as a result of COVID-19 continues to be devastating. The reported steady decline in weekly average infections, which stood at 379 by the week of 5th March 2021, was sustained to 60 cases by the week of 20th June 2021. Since then, however, the detection and spread of the Delta variant has largely driven up reported cases. As of 25th July 2021, overall COVID-19 infections since the first confirmed case on 12 March 2021 has reached 103,019. There are currently 4,983 active cases, 97,213 recoveries against all efforts. 823 persons have died due to COVID-19 over the same period. Mr. Speaker, improving regional and global supply chains and rising demands led to total exports reaching $2.5 billion in the first 2 months of 2021. By June, this had significantly increased to $7.6 billion. In addition, the COVID-19 related regulatory reliefs and policy measures introduced by the Bank of Ghana continue to promote bank lending activities. From the beginning of the year to June 2021, new advances reached $16 billion, marginally above the advances of $15.8 billion during the same period in 2020. It is expected that as economic activities rebound and lending rates drop further, private sector credit will pick up. Mr. Speaker, proactive and pragmatic policies have ensured that the tourism and hospitality industry, which had perhaps endured its most difficult year in 2020, is on a rebound. Tourist arrivals in the country as at the end of 2020 was about 370,000, as against a revised target of 400,000 for 2020. With the reopening of the Kotoka International Airport in September 2020, arrivals at the end of the second quarter of 2021 were 231,000, representing 65% of the full year arrivals in 2020. Mr. Speaker, there are also other positive trends for this pandemic, as digital technology is assuming a more significant role in the operations of businesses. Almost 9 out of 10 firms are now leveraging digital platforms to market their products. Similarly, mobile money, door-to-door delivery via courier services, and internet usage for business operations also increased by 77%. Mr. Speaker, since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, government has developed and implemented a number of interventions expressed in the National COVID-19 Emergency Preparedness and Response Plan and the National Strategic COVID-19 Response Plan, July 2020 to December 2024. Mr. Speaker, these plans and related interventions provided a comprehensive framework to mobilize and disburse funds which have proved vital to the success of the national containment and case management measures. Since Ghana recorded its first 2 cases on 12 March 2020, the Ghana Health Service has conducted 1,416,952 tests as of 25th July 2021, with a cumulative positivity rate of 7.3%. Mr. Speaker, Ghana implemented the COVID-19 vaccination campaign as part of the containment strategy and has developed the National Deployment and Vaccination Plan. It is planned that 20 million Ghanaians will be vaccinated in order to achieve herd immunity. Mr. Speaker, we have upgraded our national, regional, and district cold chain facilities to widen our access to vaccines like Pfizer and Moderna that require -70 degrees centigrade cold chains. These include 16 ultra-low cold freezers, 58 units of ultra-low freezers, 50 normal vaccine refrigerators, 300 boxes to be filled with ice packs, 300 ice pack freezers, 10 cold chain vans, and 120 temperature monitoring devices. Government has also committed to providing seed funding of $25 million towards the development of the country's capacity to produce vaccines domestically. This will be achieved through the establishment of a National Vaccine Institute. Mr. Speaker, the pandemic further strengthened our efforts to tackle discrimination and inequality against women, since the sectors hard hit by the crisis like tourism, hospitality, and small-scale retailing employ a large number of women. It is important to note that Ghana was one of the few countries in the world that devised a plan to ensure that the impact of the pandemic on MSMEs will be minimized. Through the Ghana Enterprise Agency, formerly National Board for Small Scale and Industries, A number of programs were implemented to minimize the impact of the pandemic and also to support in the realization of the government vision of diversity, inclusivity, and job creation. Under the Ghana cedi 600 million coronavirus alleviation program business support, a total of 520 million Ghana cedis have been disbursed to over 299,000 MSME beneficiaries between May 2020 and June 2021. For the 290,000 beneficiaries who benefited under the coronavirus program business support scheme, CABAS, 60% of the beneficiaries were women-owned businesses or MSMEs. The intervention unlocked access to finance mainly to women who would not have been able to access funds to support and build their businesses. Technical support was also provided in the form of training in entrepreneurship and financial management to 15,748 beneficiaries across Ghana, over 67% being females. Over 740,000 jobs have been protected, and a database of 904,000 MSMEs has been created to inform policy going forward. Support was also given to specific sectors such as the creative arts, media, and the private education to enable them continue to offer key services in peak of the pandemic. As at the end of June 2021, a total of 52.3 million Ghana cedis has been disbursed to 29,698 beneficiaries within the creative arts industry. Additionally, 5,410 private schools, university and association with the educational sector received a total of 41.2 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, to sustain the quality of life for Ghanaians during the pandemic, government subsidized the cost for various categories of household and industrial electricity consumption from April to December 2020. Altogether, 4,772,512 customers benefited from the electricity reliefs for the period. The policy, however, continued for lifetime customers from January to March 2021. Mr. Speaker, as part of government's social interventions for supply of free water under the COVID-19 initiative, the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources partnered the Ghana Water Company Limited and Community Water and Sanitation Agency to ensure the full realization of the objective. The program started in April 2020 and was extended to June 2021 for domestic consumers whose monthly consumption does not exceed 5,000 liters. In all, over 10 million urban dwellers were supplied with potable water by Ghana Water from April to December 2020. This initiative currently supplies free water to a total of about 2.3 million urban domestic dwellers whose monthly consumption does not exceed 5,000 liters of potable water at a cumulative cost of 836.82 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, CWSA, on the other hand, supplied 17.9 billion liters of potable water to rural and peri-urban population of 5.8 million at a total cost of 100.28 million Ghana cedis between April 2020 and June 2021. Mr. Speaker, the COVID-19 National Trust Fund was set up under Act 1013 to receive and manage contributions and donations from well-meaning individuals, groups, and corporate bodies. As at 30th June 2021, the COVID-19 National Trust Fund had received a total amount of 57.15 million in cash donations. These donations were made between the period April 2020 and March 2021. As at 30th June 2021, the fund had disbursed an amount of 52.5 million Ghana cedis for various programs as well as procurement of items. Mr. Speaker, the COVID-19 pandemic has forced Africa into a liquidity crisis that needs to be reversed. At the just ended 2021 Africa Development Bank Annual General Meeting in Accra, African finance ministers were in consensus that the current global financial architecture, which was designed about 75 years ago without Africa, has become less responsive to Africa's liquidity and financing need and is no longer fit for purpose. Africa cannot truly rise unless there's a tectonic shift, Mr. Speaker, in the global financial architecture to support it. To this end, African finance ministers have commenced global advocacy for the IMF to unlend between 25 to 30% of its new SDR of $650 billion to Africa. We are also advocating for the establishment of the African Stability Mechanism and the African Liquidity and Sustainability Facility, akin to the European Stability Mechanism. The African Stability Mechanism will protect the continent against external shocks by providing instant emergency access to financial assistance for countries in financial difficulty. The Liquidity and Sustainability Facility could also underwrite a more effective market in African debt that reduces the high liquidity premium African countries pay for sustainability-linked investments. Implementation of Ghana Cares. Mr. Speaker, with every crisis, the need to restructure and diversify the economy becomes imperative. The recent experience of the COVID-19 pandemic, with its disruptive impact on global and regional value chains, has once again highlighted the need to build a transformed Ghana beyond aid. It is for this reason that in November 2020, government launched the audacious 100 billion Ghana COVID-19 alleviation and revitalization of enterprises support, Ghana Cares, Obatampa program. The first phase of the program, also known as the stabilization phase, was implemented between July and December 2020. It alleviated the immediate impact of COVID-19 on our economy and restored normalcy in the lives and livelihoods of Ghanaians through substantially subsidized water and electricity costs, hot meals and food packages distributed to vulnerable and underprivileged persons, increased allocation for the cab bus scheme to support MSMEs, Ghana's CD 2 billion guarantee scheme established to support large businesses, established skills training programs in collaboration with social partners and faith-based organizations, and passage of urgent legislation to enforce COVID-19 safety protocols. Mr. Speaker, since the turn of the year, we have been purposefully pursuing the second phase of the Ghana Cares program to revitalize the economy and set it on track for transformation. As already articulated, our approach under this program is to revitalize the private sector in targeted sectors to fast-track competitive import substitution, export expansion, and the creation of decent jobs for our youth in a commercial environment that is increasingly regionally integrated. We have operationalized a well-thought-out implementation and coordination framework with a functional and staffed Ghana Cares Coordinating Office within the Ministry of Finance. Additionally, Ghana Cares delivery units, including sector specialists from the private sector, have been activated in all participating MDAs. Implementation compacts, Mr. Speaker, outlining the most critical interventions for 2021, delivery and reporting arrangements, as well as commitments by Ministry of Finance and participating MDAs have been signed. The participating ministries, departments, and agencies include the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Trade and Industry, Ministry of Science and Technology, Ministry of Communications and Digitalization, MOTAC, GIPC, and GRA. Mr. Speaker, in line with our commitment to a functioning financial ecosystem and the Ghana Cares, we are establishing the building blocks for a stronger network of institutions to support businesses and entrepreneurship, including the Development Bank of Ghana, GERSO, the Ghana Commodity Exchange Venture Capital Trust, and the recently established Ghana Enterprises Agency. This network of institutions would anchor a new age of entrepreneurship, job creation, and wealth building for our post-COVID transformation. Mr. Speaker, to modernize our agricultural sector, we are investing in initiatives that would improve production and productivity in the rice, poultry, soybean, tomato, and cassava subsectors this year. The recent engagement with all the value chain actors in these subsectors has sharpened the focus of investment in a holistic manner. We are therefore providing interest rate subsidies facilitating equipment acquisition, linking markets and producers, as well as producing relevant research in these subsectors. The youth are being supported this year to become outgrowers for anchor farmers and boost participation in commercial farming. Mr. Speaker, Ghana Cares is providing catalytic support to drive efficiency and improve outputs in the agriculture sector by investing in data and digital technology. These technologies will revolutionize the targeting of inputs such as seed inputs, extension services, and acquisition of land for commercial farming. Additionally, the program will support the reform of the fertilizer subsidy system using digital technology to make it more efficient and less prone to smuggling. This will be achieved by registering farmers for improved targeting. The registration will provide information on farmers, biodata, crops cultivated, acreage, digital location of farms to track seed and fertilizer subsidy programs. By end February 2022, 1.2 million farmers will be registered. Mr. Speaker, thank you. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, the program will support the reform of the fertilizer subsidy program. Mr. Speaker, accelerated expansion of Ghana's light manufacturing is a focus under Ghana Cares. Government is delivering dedicated support to expand the production capacity of our pharmaceutical, garments and textiles industries, as well as the processing capacity of our agro-processors to increase exports and create additional jobs. Specific interventions include support for the establishment of a cassava processing plant, provision of technical assistance to the garment and textiles industry, as well as the pharmaceutical industries. Key pharmaceutical manufacturing companies are being supported to upgrade their operations to attain good manufacturing practice standards and benefit from the African Continental Free Trade Area. Additionally, government is working feverishly to establish a garment industrial park in Dawa, which will boost exports and create additional jobs under the Ghana Cares program. Mr. Speaker, rapid acquisition of capabilities to manufacture machine tools to support industrialization is a major priority under Ghana Cares. Government and MESTI has therefore established a foundry for the fabrication of tools and is in the process of identifying suitable private sector operator to manage the foundry. We are also providing incentives to the private sector to manufacture key agricultural implements and prototype industrial research on a commercial basis. Mr. Speaker, we are aggressively promoting international and domestic tourism through Ghana Cares by supporting the modernization and development of selected tourist sites. We are therefore upgrading the scale of sector operators, working to reduce the cost of doing business and improving the competitiveness of enterprises in the sector, as well as transforming targeted tourist beaches to increase patronage, such as in Sakumono, Axum, and Elmina. Mr. Speaker, in support of government's agenda to provide sustainable and completed affordable housing, we are providing funds to the National Home Ownership Fund. This fund, to be matched by participating financial institutions, will provide low blended mortgage interest rates of between 11 to 12% as compared to the current market rates between 25 to 26%. Through this intervention, which builds upon and expands the pilot project implemented last year, our quest to promote residential home ownership while boosting the domestic construction sector to provide more jobs is on course. Mr. Speaker, Ghana Cares is providing catalytic investment for the development of communication infrastructure this year. Government is consolidating and expediting projects such as Smart Workshop, National ID, digital address systems, land records digitization, as well as virtual learning platforms to bridge the digital divide for the benefit of all citizens. Funds have been allocated to Ministry of Communication and Digitalization for the establishment of digital and innovation hubs in 4 additional cities following the successful pilot of the Digital and Innovation Hub in Accra. These hubs will eventually be expanded to all regions in subsequent years. Mr. Speaker, ongoing efforts to consolidate the fiber assets of Volta River Authority, Electricity Company of Ghana, Ghana Great Company Limited, Ghana National Gas Company Limited, Bureau of National Communication, Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communication, and others are being sustained under this program. We are also enhancing the capacity of key institutions and improving coordination with the private sector for quality service delivery to facilitate business expansion and economic transformation. Mr. Speaker, government is aware of the critical importance of additional revenue to finance all these initiatives that underpin our recovery and transformation agenda. Indeed, we are committed to raising our tax to GDP from the current 14% to 20% as our peers in the sub-region. The Ghana Revenue Authority is therefore implementing a transformation agenda to block the huge leakages in key sectors of the economy. This transformation agenda is not just about mobilizing more, it is equally about mobilizing efficiently through technology and integrated data systems. We have also established, as I mentioned, the RACE initiative to complement the efforts of the Ghana Revenue Authority, the remit to identify and prevent revenue leakages whilst reinforcing the culture of compliance nationwide. A formal launch of this initiative is scheduled for Monday, 2nd August 2021. Mr. Speaker, the GIPC also has a crucial role to play under the Ghana Cares program by spearheading the mobilization of 70 billion Ghana cedis in private sector investment. We are supporting GIPC to be more targeted and proactive in seeking investment into the prioritized sectors for the nation. The intentional and dedicated effort to attract global and regional brands in the likes of Twitter, Google, will be leveraged to grow local enterprises. Mr. Speaker, as part of measures to mitigate the impact of unanticipated future socioeconomic crises such as COVID-19 pandemic on Ghanaian workers, government announced in the 2020 media review of fiscal policy the establishment of the National Unemployment Insurance Scheme and training-retraining programs as part of the Ghana Cares Ubatampa program. Mr. Speaker, we are currently in the design phase of the National Unemployment Scheme, and key stakeholders are being consulted. The consultations will be scaled up to include more stakeholders and technical experts to ensure that the project design suits the Ghanaian labor market. Mr. Speaker, the implementation of the training and retraining component of the program has been accelerated. Government, together with the social partners, have decided to pilot the national training and retraining program in the 2 sectors that were mostly affected by the pandemic, namely the private education sector and the hospitality and tourism sector. The compacts which have been signed between the Ministries of Finance and the number of MDAs specify specific results to be achieved by the MDAs and the catalytic resources to be provided by the Ministry of Finance. Each compact includes a clear results tracking framework with further releases of funds tied to performance. I'm happy to report that this exciting performance-based arrangement is up and running. The catalytic resources have started flowing and the MDAs are energized and getting on with the activities. The compacts ensure effective and timely delivery of targets under Ghana Cares for 2021. Mr. Speaker, government is demonstrably committed to the nation's economic recovery and eventual transformation as envisioned by the Ghana Cares program. We are innovating new ways to get results. We are engaging all actors to secure key participation and involvement. We are aggressively mobilizing resources to deliver the program. The recent urgency brought to bear by our youth is appreciated. We will continue to prioritize the opportunities as a means for this transformation journey. Mr. Speaker, the implementation of the Ghana Cares complement the existing flagship programs such as Free SHS, PFG, 1D, 1F, among others, which have been rationalized to enhance the quality of life of our people and further advance our transformation agenda. To this end, the recent challenges relating to the school feeding program and IPEP and caterers are being resolved. Mr. Speaker, despite the generally strong performance of our economy in recent decades, the issue of unemployment and jobs for our youth, who constitute close to 71% of our population, persists. This situation has been exacerbated by the impact of this pandemic. Taking the lesson from our recent past, we are deliberately intervening to avoid a jobless economic growth and recovery. Mr. Speaker, at the strategic level, our comprehensive and holistic response to the employment and jobs issue remains anchored on the private sector. It is for this reason that government's recovery program transformation agenda is easing the constraints of the private sector to enable them to expand and provide jobs for the youth. A recent survey indicated that about 50% of local employers report misalignment of or inadequacy of skills in the market. It also reports that at least 50% of new tertiary institutions entrants are enrolling in programs in sectors with no or little growth in labor market. Mr. Speaker, in response to this, we are strengthening the links between education and job market stakeholders. We are also revitalizing the skills development initiatives and the Ghana Enterprises Agency, NEIP, YEA, and Kessben. We are also feverishly working on a scheme that enables the private sector to train new recruits entrants at a subsidized rates by government. Mr. Speaker, our intention of building an entrepreneurial nation is already known. We aim to empower our youth to be at ease and venture into businesses. The cleanup of the financial sector and the invigoration of the entrepreneurial ecosystem is expected to help remove the binding constraints of financing and market linkages for our daring youth. Our focus will remain on establishing a strong value system for entrepreneurship to flourish. Mr. Speaker, recognizing that more needs to be done, government is today announcing a 1 million jobs initiatives to aggressively respond to the needs of the country. This is to promote growth in SMEs, support new ventures, and stimulate innovation and startups. Mr. Speaker, the Enterprise and Youth Support Fund, which aligns with government's overall strategy of developing a competitive and viable private sector economy, will set up a youth bank with the aim of financing youth-led startup businesses across the country. As part of this initiative, an online investment hub will be established for youth across the country to access information for the purpose of establishing businesses. It is estimated over 100,000 jobs will be created through this. Mr. Speaker, the Venture Fund Trust, which is being revamped to be better positioned to carry out the designated activities, also as a fund manager. Mr. Speaker, we are also pursuing the Obatampa Youth Entrepreneurship Drive, Ghana Skills and Entrepreneurship Development Project, Student Entrepreneurship Initiative, the Youth in Community Improvement Model, and the Alternative Employment and Livelihood Program as direct interventions in targeted sectors to help our youth live decent lives and contribute to nation building. These interventions are clearly designed to bring us closer to confronting the jobs and employment challenges of our youth. To ensure dedicated resources, the Ministry of Finance and all participating institutions will next month sign an implementation compact on youth employment, which will tie release of resources to delivery of results. This compact will also track youth-focused initiatives across the value chain of interventions under the Ghana Cares program. Women-focused interventions. Mr. Speaker, our women have been disproportionately impacted by COVID-19 pandemic. Government is activating a policy to have 20% of procurements awarded to women. Women will also be supported with specific capacity building programs and will be empowered to leverage the danger-sensitive lending policies to be implemented by the Development Bank of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency declared 2021 as the second year of roots. And government prioritized roads for economic development and putting the economy back on track following the devastating impact of COVID-19 pandemic. From January to end June 2021, routine maintenance was carried out on 11,174 kilometers of trunk road network, 5,389 kilometers of the feeder road network, and 2,937 kilometers of the urban road network. Additionally, periodic maintenance comprising regraveling, spot improvement, and resealing works were carried out in the same period on 44, 167, and 262 kilometers of trunk, feeder, and urban road networks, respectively. Mr. Speaker, works were completed on the Tema Motorway Runabout Phase 1 in June 2020. The second phase of the project, which involves the third tier of the interchange, is expected to take off by third quarter 2021, following the completion of Phase 1 of the Becha-Bilamte Circle interchange and other ancillary works. Work on Phase 2 has started and currently at a physical progress of 15%. In 2020, works were also started on the La Beach Road project, which involves improving capacity along the Accra-Tema Beach Road and the construction of a 3-tier interchange at Nungwa Barrier. Physical progress for lots 1 and 2 is 13% and 11% respectively. Mr. Speaker, physical progress of work on the Kumasi Lake Roads and Drainage Extension projects is 73% complete as at the end of June 2021. The construction of 7 bridges is also on the way, and the completion of 4 bridges launched and 1 at substructure level. Overall progress is 70% at the end of June 2021. Mr. Speaker, works began in 2020 for the construction of 50 bridges nationwide aimed at improving connectivity within areas cut off by waterways. The first batch of 21 steel bridge components have arrived in the country. Work have started on 14 of the substructures and 3 were completed. Government has awarded contracts for the implementation of 84 critical regional and inter-regional roads projects with an estimated length of 2,237 kilometers at a cost of 7.8 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, even though Ghana remains a pillar of stability in the region, the sub-regional security situation continues to be rather volatile. Terrorist threats and general cross-border security issues are becoming increasingly imminent in view of the continuous terrorist attacks in the Sahel region, and particularly from Mali and Burkina Faso. In particular, the southward drift of the activities of violent extremist terrorists and pirates in the Gulf of Guinea have become more widespread, frequent, and deadly with the underlying dynamics. Mr. Speaker, it becomes imperative that we address the existing vulnerabilities and intensify preemptive, preventive, and countermeasures to any potential threats to our security and sovereignty in the light of the risk of the sub-region suffering from the contagion effects in the short to medium term. Mr. Speaker, government has revamped and retooled the Ghana Boundary Commission since the beginning of 2021 to undertake a strategic mandate of determining and demarcating the land boundaries and delimitation of maritime boundaries of Ghana in accordance with accepted principles of international law. Mr. Speaker, we are also working further to retool the intelligence agencies through the deployment of enhanced intelligence infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, Ghana continues to demonstrate leadership on sub-regional issues coordinated through the Accra Initiative, which serves as a coordinated and intelligence sharing platform with neighboring countries. Mr. Speaker, we'll come to this honorable House in support of the security of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund was established to mobilize, manage, coordinate, and provide financial resources for investment and infrastructure projects and ease the burden of quasi-public debt on our budget. Over the last decade, we've witnessed an increasing trend where sovereign funds have been deployed as catalysts for growth and development in emerging markets such as Asia and Middle East. This is also beginning to be adopted in Africa, and the government of Ghana intends to allow GIF to increasingly play such a role for Ghana. The government intends to reduce our infrastructure gap by enabling GIF to drive sizable but economically viable infrastructure projects to conclusion, which will also create additional fiscal space for government to operate. As such, we've nominated GIF as a vehicle to be used to restructure and refinance expensive debt of the independent power producers in the energy sector, as well as take energy equity positions in some cases to help reduce the fiscal burden of overcapacity charges we've been left with. Negotiations with several of the independent power producers are in their final stages. Government also intends to use GIF as a vehicle under the Ghana Cares program to drive our structural transformation through funding for critical infrastructure such as the district hospitals, Agenda 111, quality and affordable housing, improved rail and road networks, and ICT infrastructure. We've therefore revised the Earmark Funds Act to allow a 20% increase in the allocation of ABFA CAPEX to GIF for the funding of Agenda 111 and other development expenditure. Mr. Speaker, on the 26th of April 2020, His Excellency the President, as part of his 8th address to the nation on government's efforts to combat the coronavirus pandemic, laid out an ambitious plan to tackle Ghana's health infrastructure deficit and restore the country on the path of achieving economic and social transformation. This transformation project, now dubbed Agenda 111, will require the government to construct 101 standard district hospitals, 6 new regional hospitals, 1 regional hospital for the Western region, rehabilitation of a Piakwanta hospital in the Western region, constructing 2 new psychiatric hospitals, construction of a new Accra psychiatric hospital. The objective is to use the local teams comprising of Ghanaian consultants, project managers, and construction firms. It is envisaged that upon the successful completion of Agenda 111, Ghanaians across the country will experience a marked improvement in access to healthcare. Mr. Speaker, government and the project coordinating team have worked tirelessly on phase 1, and I'm happy to report that pre-contract works have been completed for 88 sites for the district hospitals. Mr. Speaker, we expect to commence phase 2 construction 3 weeks from now, from 17th August 2021. Mr. Speaker, an important project such as Agenda 111 requires extensive preparation and due diligence. We are confident and happy with the level of detail and attention that has gone into the pre-contract works. Rehabilitation and expansion of the Sunyani Airport. Mr. Speaker, the rehabilitation and expansion of the Sunyani Airport aligns with government's policy objective to have at least an operational aerodrome airstrip in each of the regions in the country. The rehabilitation expansion will adequately address the current operational challenges and propel business and industrial growth in the Bono region and its catchment area. Lands and mining. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, in line with the President, has held a national dialogue followed by 2 regional dialogues on small-scale mining. Following this, several measures are being put in place to build a sustainable, viable, and responsible small-scale mining industry that protects the national environment. The Ministry will beef up the personnel and other logistics of the Inspectorate Division of the Minerals Commission to undertake strict monitoring and enforcement of our mining laws. The Lands Commission has commenced the process of regional education and sensitization on the new Land Act 2020, Act 1036. Efforts to protect forests and recover lost ones have included Green Ghana project, which saw the planting of over 5 million trees on June 11, 2021, the Green Ghana Day. The outright ban on the harvesting and exploitation of rosewood, and the declaration of forest reserve in red zones for mining. Mr. Speaker, the ministry also has a program for alternative employment and livelihoods, which will be rolled out soon. As part of these efforts, the program will be anchored on 6 main interventions, namely national land reclamation and reforestation, agriculture and agro-processing, apprenticeship, skills training and entrepreneurship, responsible, viable and sustainable community mining, mine support services and community enhancement projects. These initiatives will target many illegal miners displaced by the ongoing efforts to sanitize the mining industry. Government recognizes the need to protect our environment just as it finds it necessary to provide alternative employment and livelihoods for our compatriots who will inevitably fall through the cracks. Mr. Speaker, initially this will be in the Ashanti, Eastern, Western North, Central regions. We are determined to ensure the responsible or sustainable exploitation of the lands and natural resources of our country. Mr. Speaker, on energy, the COVID-19 pandemic has amplified the campaign for transition away from fossil fuels. Given the prevailing sentiment around energy transition, there's a strong possibility that Ghana may be left with stranded assets unless we accelerate our exploration activities and develop a homegrown strategy to extract our fossil fuel. As such, GNPC is looking at opportunities for a subsidiary, GNPC Exploco, to acquire such assets and become an operator in its own right to ensure the expeditious development of our hydrocarbon resources. The new strategy may require an amendment or revision of the PRMA to allow GNPC enter into some reserve-based lending transactions in order to be able to raise the required financing to consummate these acquisitions and to finance exploration and development of such fields without having to rely primarily on GOG for funding. Mr. Speaker, to that extent, GMPD has already identified some major potential acquisition targets of offshore blocks and has entered into discussions with the shareholders with an aim to acquiring controlling equity stake and eventually becoming operators through Exploco. We shall always come back to the House with any agreements once concluded. Mr. Speaker, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals call for urgent action by all countries aimed at encouraging sustained economic growth underpinned by social, economic, and environmental sustainability. A blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet now and in the future. Accordingly, the government of Ghana recognizes that we must be at the forefront and promote the building blocks for an inclusive and sustainable recovery. Our focus remains to move urgently toward opportunities and solutions that achieve sustainable and broad-based economic growth without harming our climate or leaving hundreds of millions of families in poverty. As such, government has commenced discussions with international organizations such as the World Economic Forum to identify SDG financing gap and develop a roadmap to attract innovative finance to close the gap for the attainment of the SDGs by 2020. Ghana and Switzerland have also agreed on a roadmap for 50 million tons of carbon capture. Globally, the international capital markets is moving its financing appetite towards sustainable innovatorship that supports such goals. Ghana is also keen on positioning itself to benefit from the desire to provide such financing by developing an ESG framework which will allow proceeds raised or an amount equivalent to such proceeds raised to be used for financing or refinancing eligible green and sustainable projects such as renewable energy, health, education-related infrastructure, amongst others. Mr. Speaker, our partnership with FBOs has directly and indirectly benefited over 46,000 and 100,000 trainees, respectively, in fashion, catering, cosmetology, electronics, business, and managerial skills. Efforts are being made to roll out the next phase by end of the third quarter. We continue to count, Mr. Speaker, on our SBO partnerships to sensitize and ensure adherence to the life-saving mask wearing, social distancing, and enhanced hygiene protocols within our communities. Mr. Speaker, work on the National Cathedral is progressing speedily, and following the program of the contractors, and with God helping us, the National Cathedral is expected to be officially commissioned on March 6, 2024. Upon completion, the National Cathedral will provide a sacred space for formal religious activities of state and symbolize the enormous contribution of faith to nation building. Mr. Speaker, this state and church partnership envisaged by the President to develop the National Cathedral is on course. An initiative, the 100 CDs a month club, also dubbed Ketua Biarensa, will be launched by the trustees of the National Cathedral on August 12, 2021, to give as many Ghanaians as possible the opportunity to be part of the history to build the National Cathedral. The aim of the club is to raise 1 million Ghanaians who will give 100 CDs a month for the construction of the National Cathedral. A special short code 979 has been developed for this purpose. We look forward to Mr. Speaker and all the members of this august house joining the 100 CDs a month club. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, may I convey a special message from His Excellency the President to the young people of our beloved country. The last couple of years has not been easy for our young people. Your education has been disrupted. For many of you, your business plans are on hold because of lack of funding or opportunities. You may have lost your job or are simply tired of joining long queues or filling job application forms for vacancies that are filled even before your ink is dry. But we have a message for you. Big opportunities are coming, and the President wants you to be part of that. The President is determined to see as many of you having the opportunity to help shape our future. We value your input, and even as we roll out programs to support you, we will continue to engage. Now more than ever, we need to create a large pool of employment opportunities for the growing number of young Ghanaians who now have increased access to education. At the heart of the policies outlined in today's statement is the rolling out of various programs to build an economy that allows you to unleash the wealth and breadth of your energies. Your President believes in the power of constructive collective action. Together we can ensure that yesterday's problems are tackled today so that we do not carry them on to the next generation. As the great American Franklin Roosevelt once said, the only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. We must confront the spirit of doubt and face our fears in faith. Mr. Speaker, today we have announced key job creation and entrepreneurship interventions such as a U-Bank product and a host of other government interventions that target young people. These should enable us to connect applicants to appropriate job opportunities or provide assistance to allow applicants to confidently start their own businesses and take full advantage of the supportive ecosystem we have put in place. So to the young people of Ghana, let me stress to you that our policies are not simply about generation for them to also to prepare a brighter Ghana for the next generation. Our responsibility as your government is not just about responding to the judgment of our critics today, but to the judgment of posterity. Conclusion. Mr. Speaker, it has been almost 16 months since 11th March 2020 when WHO declared the COVID-19 a pandemic. However, as a country, we have reason to be optimistic and hopeful. Based on key indicators, we are on track to recovering from the most difficult crisis in the post-war era. In the next few months, the Ministry of Health aims to embark on an aggressive vaccination program, which we are confident will help us achieve herd immunity and break the chain of infections in our nation. Mr. Speaker, we are only in the 7th month of the second 4-year mandate of the government of President Akufo-Addo and the New Patriotic Party. Ghanaians renewed our mandate because they recognize that the difficult crisis that the country and the world as a whole were facing as a result of COVID-19 pandemic required competent and bold leadership, which we have proved and will continue to provide under the decisive leadership of His Excellency President Nana Akufo-Addo. Mr. Speaker, permit me to say, with all the confidence that I can muster, that the President promised to leave at the end of his term in January 2025 a legacy of a proud and confident nation at peace with itself and the world around it is on course. We are pushing the boundaries of our economic activity and doing so right from the center of a fast integrating single market for the continent of Africa. If we stay on course, Mr. Speaker, a few years from now, within this decade, Ghana's strategic place at the center of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area of 1 billion consumers and some 2.5 trillion GDP and growing will become a reality. The policies of this government in education, infrastructure development, industrialization, in fast-tracking digital technologies, in strengthening the financial services sector, in foreign diplomacy, are all being deliberately pursued and synchronized to get this generation to establish Sub-Sahara's first independent nation, Ghana, as a commercial and investment center for Africa. We began by setting the country on a transformation track back in 2027 with our bold vision of a Ghana beyond aid. The recovery is on. We are back on track despite the pandemic. The plan of the President is to achieve from this year a strong and sustainable recovery of the economy. Mr. Speaker, our pillars of recovery in 2021 have been built on the strategy of completion, consolidation, and continuity. We choose to be bold in crafting a 2021 budget that deals with the past, delivers opportunities in the present, while investing in the future in a responsible and interconnected manner. Specifically in 2021, we aim at A, COVID-19 containment measures including vaccination, creating jobs, B, creating jobs, promoting entrepreneurship and wealth creation, C, developing our infrastructure with priority focus on roads, railway, water, and sanitation, hospitals and housing, diversifying productivity and high-value services, implementing bold reforms to increase revenue mobilization and the efficiency of public expenditure, deepening structural reforms to make the machinery of government work better for the people, and rolling out digital technologies, e.g. national ID, digital address system, payment systems, interoperability, land title registration, Ghana.gov, to improve our service delivery. Mr. Speaker, the deliberate strategy of the Akufo-Addo government to invest in digital infrastructure and get Ghana fully plugged into the global ecosystem of digital technology has been further vindicated by the COVID-19 crisis. The pandemic has heightened the need for digital technology in our homes, for schools, for work, and even leisure. That is why today Ghana is at the forefront of using digital technology to expand access to finance and financial products for all Ghanaians. Digitalization is making the delivery of services more efficient, diverse,